Hey, it's Victor from Social Firestarter. I'm going to look at citations today, and I want to share a few very important tips that you can apply to pretty much every citation or business directory listing that you might be looking at. So, of course, a very important part to every GMB campaign or pretty much any SEO campaign for a law firm, it's going to be making sure that you have citations built and being accurate. So amongst the best citations that you can look at out there, this right here that I'm looking at right now is Justia. So of course, a very authoritative place that lists attorneys nationwide. If you think about it this way, all of the other attorneys in your area are on Justia. So if you're not on there, you do end up sticking out a little bit. In other words, you kind of have a bit of a gap in your backlink portfolio because you're pretty much missing a very important listing that distinguishes, or in other words, solidifies to Google, to the algorithm, that you are a law firm and that you do local services. And of course, more importantly, that you should be targeted, or the visibility for this given entity should be provided for a local area. So very important foundational steps here for any GMB campaign. And I want to share these next few tips so that you can pretty much make sure that you have all your listings correct and that you are maximizing the amount of optimizations that you can do on them, like on the actual pages themselves. So, of course, one of the most important parts to all of this, make sure that the listing is complete. This is overlooked a whole bunch by even marketers. If you have the opportunity to do so, you should even go ahead and upload multiple pictures, or really, if you have blog posts, if you have other maybe if you have an additional blog or other social media that you are active on, you got to make sure that you're including stuff like this on your listings whenever possible. So that'll be my first tip for this video. Include links to all your other important listings and profiles. So if you are wondering maybe which ones can go on most listings, well, of course, the website link. A lot of times it can ask you for a specific blog link, which can be pretty much just another URL from your website. You also have your GMB listing. That's a very important one. You can obtain links from your GMB listing. There's like a really easy to share button that provides a shortened URL. You can use that across any profile, any social media, really anywhere online to create that bond. So again, that's what you're kind of going after with including any other profiles. So if you happen to post a lot on Twitter, or maybe you're really active on your Facebook page, make sure to provide those same links across any other listings like Justia here. So Justia does allow you to use all of your other social media platforms as well as your other legal directory listings such as Martindale. There's just one of them, but there's a few, Avo as well as lawyers.com. So if you haven't already gotten those listings, definitely go ahead and grab those and again, revisit the Justia profile, place all your links on here. And you can do this for any listing. Of course, all the legal ones, all those authoritative ones, they're probably going to let you put a whole lot more than those more obscure ones that you might find once you start doing some real digging. So, and something that you should already know by this point, making sure that the business hours line up, it's so crucial. It's just a very important piece of information for your given location that Google does look for. So it really benefits you when everything is just very much matching across your different listings, all the different locations that are showing your business and featuring it or just listing it. All right, so my number two tip is going to be, it's also about organization. So when you start an SEO campaign, depending on what kind of law firm you have and what areas of law you practice in, it's going to decide how many different key terms you try to focus on across your listings. So let's say you're very much focused on, you're just like hyper focused on DUI cases. Well, in that situation, it's super easy. Everything, all the different locations across the given listing, the places where you can list a little biography, the places where you can list a description about the law firm, as well as sections where it lets you place a byline. Anything like that, you should be thinking about trying to incorporate your main keywords in there. And that doesn't mean just stuff them in there. Try your best to make it look really natural. This is going to depend on the law firm. But let's say you practice on, or you have plenty of attorneys as a part of your law firm, and you can practice on pretty much any type of case out there. So in that situation, you just want to be careful not to literally grab every type of case you can think of and list it on your listings like this. In that situation, with that type of law firm, you really do have to choose a few main ones, or ones that you think would represent your law firm, your practice the best. So I like to refer to this as main key terms, because of course you can create a bit of a hierarchy with the keywords. You don't have to just focus on a few of them. You can end up focusing on pretty much every relevant keyword. You just have to make sure that you're creating a bit of a hierarchy so that you can guide your campaign along the more difficult keywords, the ones that are going to be tougher for you to rank on. Most often, those are going to be the ones that you have to focus on the most. So that can be brought down to the on-page level for pretty much every listing, like here on Justia. So where all these different areas that you're filling in with content, you would want to very specifically maybe target, let's say, 3 or 4 branches, or what I'm saying, main keywords. Like personal injury might also include car accidents and slip and fall. And you can look at family law, including also divorce. You try your best to kind of bunch up the keywords to what makes the most sense, what's most relevant, and that way you can kind of focus on certain keywords a little bit better with your listings. So my last tip, and this is a super important one for the indexation of your citations. So if you're not familiar with indexation, or just what it means when Google crawls your website and then when they index it, I do recommend you try and find a little bit of documentation from Google regarding those things. I believe there's a video, there's got to be at least one video that I've made previously for this channel where I go into indexation and what it basically means. But pretty much the general idea that you should look at here is, if you're creating all of these listings all at once, there's a chance that you're probably going to end up using like the same content, right? Because it might be a lot of work to generate this many characters for every single listing, especially if you have many locations to your law firm. It can be very, very tedious, but it really does pay off if you can create some unique content for these. So the best way I've found to do this is to kind of prepare this ahead of time before you really sit down and fill out all these listings. You want to prepare some content, some descriptions for your law firm that you can pretty much try and copy and paste over to these listings. So what you don't want to do is, you don't want to have the exact same description on every single listing, because then it's going to be less likely for Google to want to index all of your all of the citations that you're putting out there. If you think about it this way, if all of those profiles say the exact same thing, then what really is the use for Google to be adding that to its list of things to crawl, to its list of resources on Google search? So you use that reasoning to kind of understand that if you can switch around the content a little bit, if you can try your best to generate a little bit of uniqueness across each listing, it will come back and benefit you in two different ways. One, it's going to get crawled much faster. Two, it's likely going to stay indexed after it's been crawled. Because if you have a lot of listings, and let's say you filled out a listing and you didn't, or you verified a listing but you didn't fill it out, it's possible that after some given time, maybe a year, maybe two, it gets de-indexed. Like it just gets removed from the index because one, a lot of these more obscure citations don't get that much traffic, and two, if you didn't acquire a bunch of mentions for that listing, then it might not look as authoritative as it needs to stay online, because again, there's probably plenty of listings out there for your business already. So that's pretty much my three big tips for filling out citations. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're having some sort of an issue with keeping them indexed. I know a lot of people often do. It's not exactly easy, and Google changes the way that they index things all the time. So that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think. Make sure to hit that like button as well to let me know that you like my content. But other than that, I'll see everyone on the next video.